Guys, welcome back to Southern Extreme TV. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on my channel. Today, we're doing an awesome unboxing product review for the Tract Optics Toric 3x15x50 scope. So thanks for hanging out with me on my channel. If you are new to Southern Extreme TV, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're trying to grow this thing to 100,000 subs. Thank you for to Tract Optics for getting this scope sent out to the channel for a review and unboxing video. If you guys are unaware of who Tract Optics is or what their company is about, go to their website, take a look at all the products they've got. They basically offer some of the most high-end glass on the market at sub MSRP cost. And basically, if you take a look at the glass that is installed in some of these other larger manufacturers on the market like Swarovski, Zeiss, some of those big name brand guys, the same type of glass that you are getting out of those manufacturers is what Tract is putting in their scopes. But instead of charging double or triple the cost, Tract is able to bring you guys these optics at a very affordable price. And I've been using Tract optics now for roughly, holy smokes, I would have to go back and look. I'm gonna say for at least 8 years. The first Tract optic scope that I had was their Toric 3x15x45 or 44 millimeter scope. And I've got it mounted onto my Savage 110 High Country, which you guys have seen me shoot a lot of deer with that rifle. You've seen me do product reviews on that rifle. You've seen the accuracy that I'm getting out of it. I am still to this day using that scope and gun combo. And then also my rifle that you have been seeing probably the most recently over the last 3 to 4 seasons is going to be my Springfield Armory model 2020 Waypoint chambered in 308. And I have a Tract optic scope on it as well and absolutely love it. But this scope here has got big hopes and big dreams because this will be eventually going on to a new custom 308 build that I've got coming out with Night Stalker Precision here in the next couple of weeks or months-ish. Hopefully it'll definitely be here before season. So I wanted to give you guys a first-hand look at what all comes in this box featuring with the Toric and kind of give you my first initial impressions off of it, and we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and tear into this box. So right off the bat, the packaging is pretty cool. They give you a little bit of a story on this back side, and it tells you, it says our story from day one. We've had a very specific purpose at Tract, building a bridge directly to you, the consumer. And it goes on and on and on about their kind of founding core values about what they wanted to do with creating high-end quality glass and passing those cost savings over to the consumer so that you don't have to jeopardize quality glass for cost. So really proud of those guys, and I'm really proud that Southern Extreme TV is working with Tract Optics on this project, and hopefully on 2 or 3 other projects coming down the line, which we're going to see how that works out, but I think that we've got some big things coming. So right off the bat, you open it up. I believe that this is going to be a cleaning cloth. Yep. So right off the bat, they give you a nice little packaged cleaning cloth with a nice little note here. It says, "This is where you belong." So that's pretty cool. But I always like these little cleaning cloths because I feel like I just put them everywhere. I've got one in my truck. I keep one on my four-wheeler. I keep one in my bino harness. You can never have too many of these glass cleaning cloths. So really appreciate them sending that out as part of that packaging. But let's get into the meat and the potatoes, if you will, of this optic. So right here, you've got a turret kit that comes with the scope. So that's really good. Gives you a nice adjustability, and it gives you a bunch of little stuff in here. Looks like maybe a zero stop and a couple different turret options, just a whole bunch of different stuff in there. So that's really nice. Put this back, get that out of the way. This is what I care about. This is what I'm all about. I don't think there's anything else in this box. So let's set that box over there to the side, get this turret kit out of the way, and let's bust open this Toric optic. If you guys have never seen a Tract optic scope in person, it is one of the most beautiful scopes that I own. This is now my third Tract optic scope, and super excited to be doing another review and putting this onto another firearm. So right off the bat, it's kind of a matte gray color, so it's a little different color scheme than a lot of the other optics that's out there on the market. I know Vortex offers, I think, a bronze-ish color that's similar to this kind of shade, but the gray is not a stainless color. It's a flat matte gray, which looks really, really good, and I think it's going to pair nicely with the rifles the rifle that this one's going to be going on. I know the other two Tract optic scopes I have look fantastic on the guns that I've got. So just kind of off the bat, you do have closed adjustment ports, so your turrets are not exposed. Now, some people may like that, some people may not like that. With this scope and the rifle that this scope is going on, it is designed to be lightweight. It is going to be designed to be drug through some pretty rough terrain as far as thickness goes, not some elevation, but mainly thick. And I really wanted those turrets to be capped, and that's mainly so that I'm not going to be taking very far shots, probably 300 yards and in, 300 yards at the absolute most, and more than likely my shots with this rifle I'm building are going to be 150 to 175 yards and in and through some brush. And I did not want to risk the potential chance of climbing through some mountain laurel or taking my gun in and out of a boat, and for some reason getting that knob knocked off for whatever reason, and then my zero not being where I need it to be. So I elected to go with the capped turrets, which is a big deal. Reduces weight, makes it a little more streamlined, which is really nice. Over here on the side, you do have a side parallax, so that's a really cool feature. So if you are taking those shots that's a little bit farther, you can actually dial that in so that reticle and your shot and your target actually kind of come in together and gives you a really nice sight picture. So super streamlined. Very simple, which is what I like. I'm a very simplistic kind of guy. If you get too many bells and whistles and doohickeys on these scopes, and sometimes it just gives you a whole lot of stuff to mess with out there in the field. So very simplistic, very lightweight. Now, this scope does have the 1-inch tube diameter. Now, Tract Optics actually has a pretty cool little article that I read not too long ago talking about the difference between light that scopes pick up in low light situations and what scope is best for low light situations. And the aura around scopes and reticles is that the bigger the tube, the more light that tube picks up and gives into your eye, and you can then see and shoot a lot later into the afternoon or the early mornings. Well, Tract actually proved that that's not necessarily the case. They actually proved that the 1-inch tube body with a larger objective lens, which is the 50 millimeter here, the light is accumulated out of the objective lens, and it is actually bottlenecked down into this 1-inch tube, which actually gives you a brighter sight image with this 1-inch diameter tube, which is a very big deal. So I may have misspoke on some of that stuff, but in essence, there was an article that Tract Optics produced that in theory, that's roughly what they said. So I'm really excited to be using this scope this season. Again, this is a 3x15 power. Now, that is a really awesome magnification in my opinion, because again, we're talking about a scope that I want to be able to go out and hunt some really thick conditions. So I may be taking shots that are 30 yards all the way to 25 yards. If you guys seen me shoot my big public land buck off the ground with a rifle last year, I shot that deer at 25 yards and some thick mountain laurel type cover. And I actually had, at the time, I had my scope set on about 4 power because my farthest shot was about 70 or 80 yards. So being able to dial this thing out all the way to 3 power gives you a really wide field of view. It allows for a lot of light to come through. It allows for a big sight picture so that, you know, if an animal's moving through some thicker cover, it gives you that ability to pick up that little bit of movement at a wider range. But then it also gives you that ability to dial this thing all the way down to 15 power. So if you do get into a hunting situation where you need that extra magnification, you have the ability to do that here with this Tract optics. So very, very impressed so far with this optic. Now, you do get 2 lens covers. Now, these are not lens covers that are going to be attached to the scope full-time or permanently. So if you are going to want flip-up caps, which I'm a big Butler Creek fan, so I'll probably have me some Butler Creek flip-up caps that's going to go onto this thing. You want to do that, but these are nice just for the time being to help protect that glass. So this is now what I'm going to say is the moment of truth, looking through this thing and looking at what that sight picture looks like. Now, with the reticle options, I believe that they offer 2 different reticle options with this scope. I elected to go with a reticle called the T-Plex. And to keep it simple, the T-Plex is basically your run-of-the-mill, very standard-looking crosshair that you've been using and seeing for the past 20 or 30 years. The only difference is that vertical line coming down on that T-Plex is a little thinner, which I really, really like because I love having that thinner vertical line. It just takes up less of your sight picture, but then you have those really good, bold, well-defined lines coming to a very nice, clean and crisp crosshair so that there's no mistaking where that point of aim is going to be at in those low light conditions. And I've got this same reticle on my Savage 110 High Country, and I absolutely love it. It's my favorite reticle that I have ever shot out of any scope manufacturer out there on the market, and I was super excited to go with the T-Plex again. So let's talk about the clarity on this thing. And I don't want to sound like a salesman on this, guys, but I am very fortunate in the fact that I get to test and review a lot of equipment and a lot of shooting equipment and a lot of optics, mainly rifle scopes. I have tested Vortexes, Athlon optics, Tract optics, Discovery opt. I've looked through Swarovski, I've looked through Zeiss. I've had I've been super blessed to be able to look through a lot of very high-end glass. And I am going to be 1,000% honest with you guys. Tract optics, to me, in my opinion, is the cleanest, clearest, most crisp glass that I have looked through. And I'm going to put that up there with Swarovski. I'm going to put that up there with Zeiss. And I think that the glass that Tract offers in their scope is not even in the same ballpark as a Nikon or a Vortex. I think that the Tract is way better than those manufacturers. Now, I'm by no means knocking those other manufacturers because they make some very high quality, high end scopes, and they make them for all different price ranges. But overall, on average, the 3 scopes from Tract optics that I have, I like those 3 scopes more than any scope that I own or that I have looked through. And I think the telltale testament to that is for me to prove to you guys that I'm not just blowing smoke. And the reason that I can prove that is if you go back through all of my deer hunting videos over the last 8 to 9 years where I've been using a higher end optic, or I've had the ability to use a higher end optic, you will see that in my personal hunting life and hunting situations, my firearms have Tract optics on them. Not saying that I don't have other optics on some other firearms, because I do. I've got plenty of Athlons that I love. I got plenty of Vortexes that I love. But on the 2 guns that I have used the most over the last 9 years in all of my hunting situations for whitetail deer and big game, Tract optics is the scope that you will see in almost every video I have produced over the last 7 to 8 years. And that right there should speak for itself, because I have the ability to run a lot of different glass options out there, and Tract to me is one of the best on the market that I have looked through. Not saying that there's not something better out there, there may be, but in my opinion, if I'm going to spend my hard-earned money and I'm going to require an optic to be as rugged and as tough as what I want it to be, but also give me the clarity that I really need to make my shot count, I'm going to spend my money on Tract optics. Really, really sweet optic, very, very clear. Absolutely freaking love this thing. Now, I want to talk about the way that it is built, because, you know, you can have the cleanest, prettiest, most well put together scope that's out there on the market, but at the end of the day, as a company, you have to stand behind your product that you're selling to a consumer. Tract Optic offers a lifetime guarantee on their optics. Now, I know there's a lot of people in the market that are doing that, but if you take a step back and you look at the people that are offering those lifetime warranties, it is some of these really, really large name brands. It's your Nikons, it's your Vortexes, it's your Athlons, it's those really big, your Leopolds, very big name brand guys who, in my opinion, can afford to offer that lifetime warranty. Tract Optics is by no means a small manufacturer, but they're not necessarily on the level that Vortex or Leupold is on. And the fact that they're a smaller size company, but they are still backing their products with a lifetime guarantee, tells me that the owners of this company are willing to go to bat for their product, to say that they are 100% guaranteed that the optic that they're going to send you when you make an order is going to be the scope that you want to use for the rest of your life. And if something does happen to that scope in your lifetime, they are going to fix it and replace it, because it is not their intent that something is going to happen to that scope. And if something does, they're going to fix it and they're going to make it right. So standing by that lifetime warranty on this scope is a very, very big deal to me. I think it just talks a whole lot about the quality of the scope, and it also talks about the integrity of the owners of Tract Optics and the fact that they are willing to stand behind this product whenever it goes out to your house and on your firearm, that they're going to stand by it for a lifetime. That's a very big deal to me, and I think that just speaks absolute volumes as to what type of quality we're talking about here with Tract Optics. So if you guys are in the market looking for a new rifle scope and you're on the bridge as to what rifle scope you may or may not want to get, I beg you guys to go over to tractoptics.com, take a look at what they got. If you've got questions about the different optics they have, they do binoculars, they do spotting scopes, and they do a lot of different rifle scopes. Give them a call. They'll be more than happy to answer any questions. If this scope is the one that you specifically are looking for, again, this is the 3x15x50 with the 1-inch tube body. Give them a call, let them know that you watched the video on Southern Extreme TV. I don't get paid for this video. I don't get any money whatsoever. So go spend your money with Tract Optics. I don't make a dime off of it, but just let them know that you've seen this video, because maybe we can open up and do some additional work with Tract Optics on this channel and bring you guys some additional reviews. So I think you guys will enjoy Tract Optics. I think that you cannot go wrong if you're in the market looking for a new scope and you decide to go this route. They do make some higher end scopes for more precision, long range shooting. So if you're into that ballpark, that they have that option for you guys as well. So with that, if you have any questions for me in my channel, drop a comment down below. I'll do my best to answer it to the best of my ability. And if I'm ignorant and don't know the answer, I'll do everything I can to research it and try to get you an answer that makes the most sense. But absolutely love this thing. I think it's a great scope, and I think you guys are gonna love it as well. I'll see y'all on the next episode.